The world is home to countless unusual creatures that have inspired fairy tales and legends. These creatures include the likes of a ghoul lurking in a dense forest, a giant snake that went extinct millions of years ago, and even a dinosaur running through a backyard. In an upcoming video, you'll have the opportunity to see some of the strangest creatures that people have ever seen. Let's go. In the sun, a massive snake was discovered close to the Amazon River. Fortunately, the people who filmed it were able to do so while it was sleeping. The snake's keen eyesight would have easily spotted them as potential prey if it had been awake. Therefore, the individuals were incredibly fortunate to have survived the encounter. If they were to go swimming in that area again, luck might not be on their side a second time. Seeing such an abnormally large snake can make one feel like nothing can surprise them anymore. Rested. Getting out of the city is always great. It's cool to breathe fresh air. Forget about the hustle and bustle of the city, get away from the usual business, and feel like a real human being. The very living creature that is suffering from snakes. Because in the forest, you can encounter such a giant anaconda or titanoboa, or I don't know what it is. This big creature wrapped itself around the whole minivan and wasn't about to let it go. Perhaps the snake was planning to eat it, but as the authors of the video wrote in the comments, it didn't come to the meal. At some point, the creeping creature heard a terrible sound from deep in the forest and crawled away in its direction. I don't even know if we should be happy about that, because by that logic, somewhere in the depths of the forest there are other, larger snakes, and that doesn't bode well. In the world of dinosaurs. Is that a bird? Or perhaps a plane? Actually, it's a dinosaur, except they're extinct, aren't they? This was the shared bewilderment when witnesses observed what appeared to be an enormous snake extending into the heavens, right before their very eyes. Do you believe the footage is authentic, or could it be a clear fabrication? After all, snakes of such size don't exist. Share your thoughts in the comments section below this video. What is that? It's supposed to be the peak, just the apogee of fear and terror, but it's not the case. 2 years ago, this video appeared on the internet. Filmed after a hurricane in the United States, an eyewitness said that right during the natural phenomenon, when everyone was hiding in their homes or somewhere in their basements, this creature was roaming the roads. It was at least 164 feet tall and clearly came from another planet according to the viewers. The authorities also saw it but did not publish the footage. And the reason perfectly well, they didn't want to cause a panic. I wonder where this creature disappeared to and what it wanted. How did it end up on our planet in the first place? So many questions that hardly anyone could answer, or maybe there are even more of these frightening creatures than we thought. Fog monster. Maybe they're all lurking in the fog. In this video, a man from Texas runs out into the street trying to capture something or someone making scary noises. However, the reality greatly exceeded his expectations. In the midst of the fog, he saw a huge monster resembling a caterpillar or something similar. In general, it was something insanely nasty with many hairs or legs. The creature walked in the opposite direction of the man and didn't interfere with him in any way. However, after seeing it once, he couldn't sleep for days. But people in the comments don't believe the story at all. In their opinion, this is obviously edited and there's nothing to worry about. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Unknown jellyfish. Fortunately, there are not many such scary videos with unidentified creatures. The rest of the creatures can at least be somehow imagined in the real world. We can put it down to the fact that science hasn't studied them yet. They don't pose a global threat. For example, there's a jellyfish or something like that. This mysterious creature was found 3,280 feet deep in the Pacific Ocean. A red crustacean was seen inside, and this begs the question, what's feeding on what, and what's going on here? On the one hand, a crayfish could be sheltering in the jellyfish from predators. On the other hand, it could eat the jellyfish. An alternate theory is that it's a unique jellyfish that eats crayfish itself. However, it has no tentacles and it looks rather strange, but the fact it let a stranger into its house is mind-boggling as well. In short, these giant deep-sea creatures have their own mysteries in life, which are not easy to solve. Guest on the ceiling. Have you ever thought about what hides on the ceiling? Perhaps you've seen a spider or gnat crawling around up there. But can you imagine finding a winged creature with 4 tentacles of varying lengths moving upside down? This is exactly what has been happening in Indonesia, where people have been discovering unidentifiable creatures in their homes. Despite the involvement of the best minds from around the planet, it's still unclear what to call these creatures. The lack of information has led some to speculate that they could be alien drones, super elaborate robots used by extraterrestrial beings to spy on us from the outside. It's hard to believe that Mother Nature could create such a strange creature, but until we learn more, we can only wonder about the mysteries that exist in our world. A Chupacabra? I suggest we move on from this nasty case to the next one as soon as possible and forget about it as a nightmare. Although, next we have some equally unpleasant news. In Portugal, as eyewitnesses say, they filmed a real Chupacabra. A very strange bipedal creature walked straight across the dried-up terrain. It had hanging arms, a hunchbacked build, and a pale appearance. It slowly, unhurriedly reached one of the bushes, and then it was gone, as if it had never been there. The slouching monster immediately caused a stir on the internet. It also caused a bunch of controversy. Some were sure that this is a mere fake, while others believed in the paranormal activity and were ready to call exorcists. Velociraptor. They were in a certain area where the topic of discussion was about dinosaurs. Even if none of them knew what a velociraptor was or what it looked like, they could still understand that it was an ancient creature from the dinosaur era. Velociraptor is similar to a smaller version of Tyrannosaurus rex, weighing about 55 pounds and standing an average of 24 to 28 inches tall. One of its unique features was the large and sharp claw on both hind legs, which it could use to attack prey. While it's not confirmed, some paleontologists suggest that Velociraptor might have had scarce plumage, giving it a more vicious and intimidating appearance. It could have also used this plumage to attract mates during mating season. Recently, a surveillance camera in Florida captured a creature that resembled this dangerous predator. It happened around 4 in the morning when the owner of the house received a notification on her phone that someone was walking on her property. She called the police in fear and started to watch the CCTV footage after discovering that no one was there. The footage showed a velociraptor running across her lawn, and she couldn't decide which was worse: the possibility of a thief being on her property or seeing a dinosaur-like creature running free. Ghoul. The next frightening video came to us directly from Poland. The footage shows a man with a flashlight wandering among the trees at night, and from somewhere in the darkness, eerie screams are heard. Soon the light falls on a strange figure hiding behind the trunks, and the guy, not risking coming closer, rushes back as fast as he can. There are a lot of options as to what it could be, from natural ones like a mutated animal to mystical ones like an alien creature. At such moments, you feel annoyance that there was no group of researchers who would have immediately turned on the spotlight around the perimeter and would have made an amazing discovery. In reality, there was just one ordinary guy who got scared and ran away, unable to make a major contribution to science. Unknown creature. Do you remember Shrek? And the character who was a cookie in that legendary animated movie? Well, this monster reminded me of him for some reason. No, seriously. Especially when the man turns the creature sideways to the camera and shows that in addition to everything else, it's also flat. What happened here in the first place? As it turned out, residents of a village in China were walking along the bank of their river and accidentally heard screams, as if calling for help. It seemed that some creature was having trouble breathing, which made its speech very unintelligible. But as the young family came closer, they were unable to speak. In front of them was this unknown creature, which looked artificial, but in fact was more than alive. The footage shows it moving its head and limbs. What do you think it is? My precious. The world is a mysterious place, filled with inexplicable happenings that occur in different corners of the globe. A fascinating example of this occurred when a group of travelers on a road trip decided to capture the scenery on camera, only to accidentally capture footage of a grazing cow and something much more unexpected, a sighting of Gollum from the iconic Lord of the Rings series. This elusive creature was seen dashing across the countryside, covering such an extensive distance that it eventually wound up in Canada, a vast distance from its supposed origin in Mordor. It's hard to imagine what could have driven Gollum so far from his home, but it's a fascinating tale nonetheless. Have you ever had a similar experience, encountering a creature that defies explanation? If so, please share your story in the comments below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.